A lot of this record is to do with relationship stuff, because in terms of marriage breakup, and then another relationship after that, which also broke up. And I had to look inside myself and find out really, what was going on.
Have you ever had one of those periods? Work is okay, even great, but you feel miserable, alone, directionless. Your personal life is in shambles. You ever had that? For Peter Gabriel, it became the foundation for his most personal record, Us. Hello, top hatters and newcomers. This is Simon Mas, your friend with a master degree in music and a couple of firsts for you. 1. While Us has several great songs, it is the first album I talk about here that I can't say I like. 2. I'll be forced to feature someone's personal drama as one of the key elements of our story. In fact, we're starting with that. Peter Gabriel and his wife Jill broke off in 1987. She had been unfaithful to him, he to her. They tried to patch things up for 5 years, but no, it was the end. British stiff upper lip style. No big fight, no huge drama, but boy, it hurt. That pain didn't help when Peter met Rosanna Arquette. Was Rosanna too busy with her own career? Was it too soon for Peter? Regardless, they were not meant to be. It was over by 1990. Again, no drama, but you know what they say about still waters, right? By then, Gabriel had started working on a difficult new album. Peter Gabriel, the music innovator, the guy that had played a key role in progressive rock, in creating what we call world music, in introducing sampling as a standard music-making practice, now facing the failures of his own personal life and the pressures of recording something that could match his 1986 blockbuster. So, Peter started attending group therapy sessions. There were issues to grapple, suppressed anger to deal with, but the pain was far from over. Was this heart wreck going to poison the composition process? Was pain going to be turned into something better? Uplifting even? Regardless of whatever plan Gabriel had when he started working on new material in October 1989, the focus soon shifted inwards. The songs became a tool to look at his relationship with the other sex, with other people, and in general, between groups of people. These were things he was facing up in therapy, the pain he needed to let go. The process of soul-searching and inward analysis lasts for 3 years, with recording sessions at the Real World Studios, in New Orleans, in Dakar, more than 1,000 digital audio tape worth of music performances, some 6,000 hours of music, performed with over 50 musicians. It was complex music, confessional and direct, uncompromising. Critics hailed it as a convincing mix of the pop soul of soul and the world music of passion. Peter Gabriel, the musician's musician, the good guy with a passion for social issues, had made it again. To them, Us might have been a difficult record to write, but the rewards were incredible if you listened. The cornerstone of a career, of the rock art genre even. Did they have a point? Let's talk about what's great in this record. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Where's my criticism? Keep watching, that train is a-coming. Us is a record with several strong songs, incredible moments where Gabriel's artistry shines through. Take only Us. that bit with the wordless song part pitched against the instrumental section. These are polyrhythms that resolved when Gabriel started his song lyrics. It's rewarding both musically and symbolically. Tell me if you don't agree, but I think it means that difficult relationships become harmonious as the talk comes into focus. Clear structures, the direct and to-the-point lyrics, the change of pace when the drums pick up, the clean production with plenty of space for the music to breathe. These are all strong elements that make this an excellent song, despite some problems. The use of folk instruments, for example. No, I said later. There's the white funk meets pop of Steam. And Kiss That Frog. Songs that throw some energy, some light-hearted fun, even into a pensive record. A good counterbalance to heavier moments, but slower songs do have a lot to offer too. In fact, it is Washing Off the Water that steals the show. Letting go, it's so hard, the way it's hurting now. For me, it is the highest point of Gabriel's career. It's the one song of his that keeps popping into my head. After 30 years, I still get goosebumps. And yeah, maybe it's a personal thing with Rivers, but I still need silence after listening to it. Is this another complaint? Indeed, Washing Off the Waters would have been a great way to end side A of the LP or the cassette, but it wasn't. Not only Us was the first Peter Gabriel album to be taught as a CD, so there was no side A or B, but even if you actually do get the vinyl, Washing Off the Waters is right in the middle of side B. It's a double LP. I could go on pointing out that at least the album does get a glorious conclusion with Secret Word, but it's time to address the elephant in the room. As much as critics loved Us, and I've given you ample proof that there is a lot to be loved here, the sales were sluggish. Sledgehammer had owned the airwaves. Digging in the Dirt, the lead single for Us, didn't. Despite being a convincing song, it didn't enter the top 20 in the UK or the top 50 in the US. Was this one of those cases where we peasants show a lack of appreciation for critically acclaimed capital A art? No. Time to start talking about my issues with Us as an album. There's 4 main complaints following escalating. For a start, the tracklist could have been improved for better pacing and dynamics. Us starts too slow. If Gabriel hadn't rearranged Steam to be more upbeat, we would have spent almost half of the record in slow contemplation. Talking about looking at one's navel. As it is, as I told you, Steam offers an extremely welcomed relief, and I also already told you about the missed opportunity with the placement of Washing Off the Water. But what I haven't told you is that the second half of the record is all stops and goes. All of a sudden, we get maximum contrast between one song and the next. This seemingly random approach could have worked maybe in the 1950s, but after Sgt. Pepper's, hell, after In the Wee Small Hours, a record has become a journey, not just a collection of songs. Gabriel knows this as much as any other great musician. He has arranged every other album of his along these lines, but Us is different. Now, If this was my only gripe with Us, it would be petty. But there's another problem on top of that, compounding it, in a way, at the start of the album. Bear with me now. This is technical, but it's gonna make perfect sense in the end. Mastering for digital media made listening to the first third of Us much harder. Too technical? Let's then say that it's a chore to listen to the first 3 songs on the album, and while this is less of a problem for Steam, that track suffers too. The mastering tires people's ears. Perhaps you're wondering what the hell mastering is? Think about mastering as the final coat of paint on any record. The one that makes sure that you have more or less the same listening experience whether you're listening to that bad boy playing from a hi-fi, from a radio, from your phone. So, what's the problem here? Why is this mastering tiring? And why am I blaming digital media? Well, mastering music for digital media is known for drastically reducing dynamic ranges via overcompression. What does that even mean? Jesus, this is hard.
Try harder.
Okay, look at this picture of the waveform of a song mastered for vinyl, an analog media. See those peaks? Those are loud moments. See how the loud sounds are followed by quieter bits? How you get louder sections and quieter sections? This mimics what happens in nature. We get silence broken by more or less loud sounds. With digital media, you're free to make everything loud. If this happens for just one song, alright, but here it's 3 or 4 songs in a row. It's like sitting in your living room with the jackhammer blasting off next to you. It's as loud as a gunshot, but it's a gunshot that lasts for a long time. You get stressed. That jackhammer thing is similar to what happens at the start of Us. You do not get this silence and loud mix that comes in nature. So, right off the bat, this album leaves your ears fatigued and stressed. Even if you like the music like I do, with Love to Be Loved. Then, as we're listening to the album, Only Us kicks in. The music suddenly opens up. Your ears have more space to rest randomly. Peter Gabriel is known for experimenting. He does so on Us too, but this time the result is not always convincing. He tries a new way of lyric writing here and there, more traditionally song-oriented, if you will. In Blood of Eden, he tells us that he's looking at his reflection in a window.
I caught sight of my reflection. I caught it in the window.
Is this a metaphor to say that he's outside and he wants in? Okay, I can see that, but it would work better if there was an image of him trying to get in a house, and it's not a house that he wants to get in. This might sound like an old dirty joke, but believe me, I don't mean it that way. 14 black paintings would work great as an instrumental track. It sounds like a Passion outtake, but it's sung too. Now, that's not a problem in itself, obviously, but the lyrics are such that the song doesn't work for me. You could have, with those lyrics, if it had been a vignette, something 1 or 2 minutes long. As it is, it lacks a clear purpose. If it is a reflection on how pain can be turned into something good, then what's with Gabriel shouting the lyrics? It's like he's singing a political anthem, and you give peace a chance. But what made that song work was its simple chorus, imagined to do just what it did. Have people singing it while marching, feeling united as they asked for peace. Gabriel's lyrics are too complex to do that. And then, what am I, the listener, supposed to do with this track? I don't want to call it preachy, but am I supposed to sit while my pain magically turns into a force for positive change? But that never happens. Not magically, not by itself at least. A view as nuanced as that exposed in this song's lyrics should expect and address that objection. And then there's Come Talk to Me. Bagpipes over a carpet of distorted guitars. Noise/industrial sounds coming in waves. Folk drumming by Babacar Faye drummers. The voice of Peter Gabriel singing about the themes of this album. This is how Us starts. And on paper, it sounds fantastic. You know, Gabriel is known to be a master of this cultural mix game, but what should be the album manifesto doesn't sound exciting at all. Gabriel's voice is strained, damaged, and the overcompression we talked about makes it even worse, making it fight for space. Meanwhile, in the music, that Babacar Faye drummer's part, it sounds insipid. Like a faded old still instead of a 4K video. Now, I do get what Gabriel wanted to achieve with this mix of different musical cultures. He's saying that we can talk, like the industrial noise talks with the bagpipes, or the folk drumming talks with the synths. But we are not listening to a real dialogue. Everything is flat. Same volume, same importance, same 2D feel. What I hear, I'm afraid, is a white man's idea of how that dialogue should pan out. And the worst part is that this white man is not Peter Gabriel. It almost sounds like self-parody. God forbid, it's like music made with AI. And Come Talk to Me is not the only time that this cultural mixing under-delivers in Us. Contrast this with Gabriel's best work. In his fourth album, for example, every element, from the synths to the samples, brought some dramatic change to the essence of the music. Sure, you can perform the rhythm of the Heat on acoustic guitar, but that would be basically a different song. Come Talk to Me is the opposite. It could have been traditional pizzica with death metal and hip-hop, and a mix of Tibetan chants, and Eurodisco, why not? It would have made no difference, really. And what's worse is that when every reference is thrown together like this, with the same apparent weight and function, every culture loses any chance to really contribute to the dialogue, to really make its voice heard. It's the death of any progress, which, perversely, fits the stifling sound of the track. There's no breathing space, Peter. How can I come and talk with you? Is this the meaning of the song? Is this the manifesto of the whole album? They say you are hardest on the ones you love, and I do love Peter Gabriel, I still do. The emotional investment, the looking up at him as an uncompromising, exciting musician, as an example of someone trying to change big and small things for the best. I hope you can tell by the way I talk about his work, by the fact that this series is still going while offering me little views or growth opportunities on social platforms. Us is full of great moments, as I said. I do listen to this or that song from it from time to time, but the whole album, before the research for this video, it must have been 25 years since I listened to it in one sitting. Maybe with some changes? The track list arranged differently, a less tiring start, a different arrangement here and there. I could have liked it as an album, but as it is, it's not for me. So, am I being too harsh? Maybe. On the other hand, I could have played this hand differently. I could have made a whole video about how Peter Gabriel, the gentle soul, didn't give even one line to sing to his then current lover. That's right, in an album where human connection and the positive power of relationship take the center stage, Sinead O'Connor never sings by herself. And considering what O'Connor said about that relationship years later, I could have turned this into a slag fest. Peter Gabriel's Us, boomer patriarchy and postmodern insensitivity. 67 characters and MAGA people would have come eating from my hand. And their clicks smell as much as anyone else's when people's attention can make or break you. Well, I didn't do it. It would have been unfair to the man. Unfair because I think Gabriel never meant anyone any harm. Unfair because I know he tried his best even when results were falling short. Unfair because this album can give us food for thought. And unfair because I, too, can make all kinds of mistakes and feel like a total dipshit. Don't we all? At times? Well, for all the things I can be, I always try to stay fair. So, there, Tapatters. This was my video about Us. After its release, I'm told Peter Gabriel went on a breathtaking world tour, conceptually rewarding, artistically and musically important. He didn't release any significant new studio recording for a whopping 10 years. He obviously needed some space for personal reasons. He had other commitments. We'll look into that and on why this is not really the truth on another occasion. Right now, it's time to part ways. This was your Simon Mas. Stick around for more music-related videos. In the meantime, stay cool and keep a top hat on. Bye!